Good afternoon and welcome to the Monday, May 18th, 2009 informational meeting of the Sioux Falls City Council. And I'll call this meeting to order. And the first item up will be a City Council staff report. It says Deborah on here, but obviously we're not going to hear from Deborah today. Is there nobody reporting then?
No reports.
Very good.
Where'd you learn that?
Yes, yeah, you're copying the councilors here. There's nobody from the mayor's office, so we'll move on to the audit committee.
The audit committee will meet tomorrow at 4:30 in the overflow room. Other than that, no report.
Fiscal committee.
No report.
Land use committee.
No report, but maybe a change of our schedule from next week to possibly postpone it till the end of June. We'll see how the rest of this meeting goes for tonight.
And that was the fire sprinkler, the introduction of the residential fire sprinkler regulation.
Right, as I understand it, if we cancel our informational next week, it may be appropriate to cancel that as well. So I don't know if we need to do that now or later, but I'll let you decide.
Well, what we thought we would do is we're got an executive session today, and if we get our executive session done today, then probably won't have to meet next week to continue that for the informational. So that would be an incentive for us to.
As a point of order, the only item on the agenda for next week is the financial update by Director Rowenhorst. So,
Councilor Knudsen.
Well, and I guess just for the listening public's sake and so forth too, I really would like to encourage us just to take a week off from the informational Tuesday, May 26th, kind of in part of the whole Memorial Day weekend and so forth. And I believe that we did not meet as an informational last year over at the end of May, and I understand we're working hard on a executive session topic and so forth, but I still would hope that we wouldn't have to have an informational period.
Well, let's see how that goes today here. Public Services Committee.
We held a meeting last week, took further testimony on code enforcement. We also accepted to look into affordable housing, and we'll be working with the Housing First director on that. And last thing we'll be looking at, of course, will be the council building security again, to maybe get a final report on that also.
Thank you, Kenny. Questions of Kenny? Very good. Item number 8 is our City Council open discussion. Are there any items? Councilor Knudsen.
I was just wondering if sometime in the near future, I'm just kind of checking on the status from the chair and the vice chair, if we've scheduled an update from the city clerk and staff on just the city archivist area. I had just mentioned the topic to Deborah Owen a few weeks ago, and then I think I mentioned it out loud too. And so I would just, I think it is important that maybe even a couple times a year we have an update. And as I said before, I still need to go over and tour the Gray Bar building, which I haven't done, but I would just like to make sure that gets scheduled. Maybe sometime in June. I mean, it's not an emergency. I just would like to keep it on the radar screen, get it scheduled.
Any other thoughts on that? Very well then. Denise, I'd request that the clerks bring forward something regarding that area. Anything else for open? Councilor Staggers.
Yes. I think probably most of you saw the article in the Argus Leader this morning about the I-90 rest stop issue in the Convention and Visitors Bureau. And I think Bob and I have been thinking that maybe we ought to try to get a resolution here in support of the CVB. And at this time, we're just wondering what the rest of the council thinks about that.
Councilor Knudsen.
Well, I'm not as much into resolutions maybe as some, though I totally agree with you on your efforts on this topic, and I did read the article carefully. And as I said the last time this topic came up, I did discuss it with the senator and encouraged him to go a little bit further with it. And I'm not sure he's gotten to that yet, but I just want you to know that I followed up on what I said I was going to with the legislature. And I would like to see us put a little more effort into lobbying some of the key legislators in our community and Mr. Gregerson, who's on the Transportation Commission. I just think that would get us further than a resolution, but I agree totally with you on your sentiment.
Yeah, I guess I was thinking, Dee, that this resolution would also act as a lobbying device, too, because we could be talking to the legislators and try to continue talking with the DOT and saying, you know, we are considering a resolution.
Well, I would, I understand it. I would support the resolution.
Mr. Jameson.
I read the article, too. I just want to make sure we're doing everything behind the scenes to work it out. It seemed like there was still an option or an opportunity for something to get worked out. Is that? I just hate to put a little too much pressure on another state organization, but I support what you're up to, but I just want to make sure we do it diplomatically. That's all.
Well, to that end, the diplomacy of the thing that, we thought we would just focus on the idea that the CVB would be the sole activator of these meetings out there, and just leave it at the commerce and not comment on any other things that might be going on.
I agree with that, but I think Terry Ellis is about as capable of anybody handling herself. I think as long as is she looking for help from us? I mean, or
She's not disappointed in what's going on.
Yeah, she would appreciate it if we would have, certainly.
Would anybody agree to maybe formatting a letter signed by the members of the council that we can send off to the tourism department and whoever's handling the shelter issue?
How about a couple of you guys that have been on the council for a while? What do you think about this? Mr. Bennigan.
Well, I'll be the old guy then. I think since the council and the city is very supportive of CVB and it's our sales agent and helps us with sales tax revenue and, frankly, the economic development of the community, I think it's important that we respond. And I think we do it in a resolution fashion. I think Kermit's right that I think it needs to be in a professional way, but I also think that we need to make sure that they know that we are disappointed in their activity and that we, in fact, endorse our local CVB, which not only helps the city of Sioux Falls, but it helps the state of South Dakota.
Mr. Costello.
I likewise would support either a resolution, a letter, or in some format, but I would just, Councilor Staggers, have you contacted the mayor? Has he been involved in this at all? Has he had any conversations?
I've just contacted the Department of Transportation.
I would just wonder if we should visit with the mayor first.
I had a brief conversation with him this morning, and that kind of centered around the article and stuff, and I don't think he would object to us doing something like this. And in regard to...
No, I wouldn't assume that he would object to it either. I just didn't know if he maybe had already was pursuing some other channels as well.
I don't think so, gathering from the conversation, but we can certainly follow up with that on Thursday. Or no, we don't have a meeting Thursday, do we? Okay. Well, I'll follow up on that. As far as Mr. Jameson, you're worrying about us lobbying another arm of government. I'm not looking at your dad. Lobbying another arm of government. If we're not here for that, I don't know what good we are doing here. So I don't have a problem with us, letting some other entity know what our feelings are. Councilor Knudsen.
Well, in addition to the discussion, our suggestions today, would you as chair consider just contacting Mr. Gregerson also, since he is on that Transportation Commission?
Yes, I think
in
that's
addition
important.
to everything else?
Yeah, I'll be speaking to Mr. Gregerson later this week, so I'll bring that up when I do. Mr. Brown.
I also support a resolution of that. I think we probably should assign it just so it gets done and circulated to everyone.
Very good. Can I direct Denise then to start to proceed to begin to commence to get ready to do this? Very good. Very good. Anything else for the good of the order? Mr. Staggers.
Yes. Tonight we have item 22, which is a first reading of an ordinance dealing with campgrounds. Let me just briefly give you brief background on this. On March the 4th, I attended the Planning Commission meeting, and at that time they did vote in favor of supporting an ordinance here to revise the campground ordinance. That was March 4th. And then on May 6th, they also voted again on this ordinance. So apparently what happened from March 4th to May 6th, they made some changes. And so on May 6th, they, once again, the Planning Commission voted for an ordinance dealing with the campgrounds. Now, I viewed the May 6th meeting last night. The part dealing with the campground ordinance lasted for about an hour. And the reason it lasted for an hour is because there was a lot of opposition to it. And in fact, what happened is the Planning Commission had a 3-3 tie. And then the tie was broken by the chair. And I remember one of the members of the Planning Commission who voted to support the ordinance said, well, I just want to make sure that the City Council can make amendments to this. So there was a lot of hesitation here about this ordinance. Now tonight we have this as a first reading. It has not gone through a City Council committee at all. And so I think that such a controversial issue like this should at least go through a committee, like the Land Use Committee. So tonight, what I'm asking for support is a motion I'm going to present to pull this off the agenda tonight and then refer it to the Land Use Committee so that we can have further discussion on this, because once again, those people who are going to be affected by this have a lot of opposition to it. Does anybody have any questions? Or
Councilor Anderson?
I will support your efforts on that, Councilor Staggers.
thank you, Ken.
I was thinking something along those same lines. Councilor Anderson and I had a witness to a campground that definitely had some problems, but it also brought us to a greater understanding of some of the difficulties of running one. Mr. Benniga?
I was just going to remind everybody, in today's mail, there's a letter from one of the campground owners, and there's also an agenda update that is from planning to delay this for 2 weeks. So I don't think that anybody's out of line with the fact that we've already gotten information, and most of us haven't had the opportunity to read one letter that was supplied and then a retraction on part of it. So I think it'd be important that we get an opportunity to assign that.
Councilor Jameson?
As chair of the Land Use Committee, I think it'd be a great item to bring in and dissect and look at. I think there's a campground really that's at the root of all this problem, one of them. And I think in the effort to clean them up, we went back and started to look at our ordinances that regulates them and try to find a way to make them clean up. But I think I would urge the city almost to go over there and just exercise some good public nuisance laws and rules and clean up some of what's going on there. I really feel bad about the idea of them having to resort, because I think that's probably where they're at, is to come back and change the law just because they've got one bad apple in the group. But I guess that's probably what we're going to have to do, because as I understand it, Councilman Litz and Anderson had actually visited the site.
I've been there too, yes.
With the owner, and they just couldn't get anywhere, it doesn't sound like. So as a representative of the land use, I'd sure welcome it into our committee.
Councilor Knudsen?
Well, I'm very, very fine with this going to committee, and I'm just have to confess a little bit behind on this issue, like totally. But anyway, I was just wondering, like, what's the? Could someone just tell me just what the main controversy is about? I mean, just in a couple sentences or something.
Well, let me just mention one of the many controversies is the 180 days. The planning department wants to restrict people from having their camper in a campground in the same location for 180 days.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's just one
Okay.
of the issues.
Thank you. And now
And
I can
also
recall.
propane tanks, and there's some other things. too.
Okay, thank you. Now thank you for reminding me. I do remember some time ago there was, we had a light discussion at least on this topic. I just hadn't reviewed it recently.
Very good. Very good. Okay, moving along. Is there anything else for City Council open discussion?
I have a couple items I'd like
Mr.
to
Anderson?
discuss. Since the council last met last week, I attended two different events here in Sioux Falls. One was last Tuesday night. It was called Crow Fest. It was geared towards younger people here in Sioux Falls. It was held at, yes, and I still attended. But it was a wonderful experience to go out there and actually see the kids have fun. We're talking a Tuesday night. It was a school night. They had live music at Canary Field. Over 8,000 people showed up for the bands in a bad weather night also. And I thought that was a great thing to happen out there. And for those that are supporting the event center, this was a positive towards that goal. It shows that if you bring in good shows, that the people in this area and surrounding area will support it. The second thing that I attended this weekend was the first major tournament held at our new Harmadon Park out on 41st Street and Highway 11. It was the Spring Classic. I want to commend Larry and Larry Toff and his wife, who have been running this tournament for about 12 years. 88 teams, men's and women's, were out there over the weekend. And I was out there on Saturday, had people that I know that play in tournaments all over the Midwest. And the compliment I want to pass back to the council was, this is the best complex in a 5-state area. And people are very excited about it and excited the future for what's going to happen out there, both baseball and softball.
Very good. Councilor Knudsen.
You know, Councilor Anderson, you just reminded me when you mentioned Canaries of something else I had wanted to share, is that I just think that's a great program that the Sioux Empire Arts Council does in collaboration with the Canaries games, and I know that the Sioux Empire Arts Council, which again is located at the Horse Barn in Falls Park, is looking for more artists, children, youth artists, to step forward and once again paint bases, and then those bases are used for that entire game, and it's just a great art sports project, and a person can pledge money at the for the Sioux Empire Arts Council at the Horse Barn to guess how many doubles there will be this year by the Canaries. And so you just reminded me of that information.
Very good. Yes, I was inside the arena Tuesday night, and I could feel the music in there. So it was they were going, no doubt. Is there anything else? Very good. We have no presentations this evening, so I'm looking for a motion to adjourn into executive session. And the executive
I
session.
so move Knutson.
Got I'm looking for a second.
Second Anderson.
Second Anderson.
For
Okay.
personnel matters.
Yes, for personnel matters. And what this means is anybody that's not directly tied into this must leave the room. Thank you.